Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I thought I'd finished for the day. I was going to go off and do things. There was various other jobs I had to do. And then this broke. And I thought, no, I've got to address it. Now, I did a video earlier about my views on Maggie Chapman. Basically, I think she is a, insert word here, begins with C. And that's it, you can't say the word. And I explained why, and I was very, annoyed, angry, upset that this woman was representing people. She doesn't represent me, thankfully. I'm sure she doesn't represent the views of anyone. She is just an obnoxious piece of human filth. And I let rant in my video. And then I moved on, we did other videos and things. But in my video, I suggested that this would be the perfect opportunity for the SNP to throw the Greens out of office. All Humza Yousaf needs to do is to say to the Greens, we don't like what she said, she must resign from the Greens, or you must throw her out of the Greens. And if they don't do that, you say, well, we cannot be aligned with you any longer, and bring to an end the Butte House Agreement. That way, he can do it without losing face, because he's always worried about losing face because of the fact that he's backed the Greens so hard. But now he can get rid of the Greens without losing face, because he can be seen to be doing the right thing, even though he probably agrees with Chapman, must be said. But he could do it, like I say, without any cost to himself. And other people are calling him to do it. So it seems to have gone from my lips to God's ears and down to others in the Scottish Parliament, because they're now calling for what I asked for 4 or 5 hours ago. And that is for the Greens to literally be thrown out. Because it isn't just Chapman. It is all the Greens. When you see exactly what kind of people they are, you'll understand why they must go. We'll take a look at this. So Humza Yousaf urged to kick out the Scottish Greens from government due to Maggie Chapman's vile Hamas comments. Although I did say that he probably agrees with them. But in terms of having the excuse to get rid of the Greens, he now can, and he won't be seen as going back on anything that he's previously done. They've brought this on himself. It's not him sort of reversing his view. The First Minister is under growing pressure to axe the Butte House Agreement, following widespread criticism of Maggie Chapman's comments, which blamed Israel for the Hamas attacks. And there he is, the man of no balls, the spineless jellyfish, a man who is not a leader. He's just a seat warmer for the real leader when she gets the job. Humza Yousaf is under growing pressure to kick out the Scottish Greens from government over the vile comments Maggie Chapman made about the Israel incident. The MSP provoked anger when she blamed Israel for the attack by Hamas, which killed hundreds of civilians. There's around 600 in total, 200 odd at a festival. These are young people. These aren't security forces. These aren't soldiers. These are people. They shot babies in the face. That's who these people are. And Chapman thinks that they're the good guys, as we've covered before. Anyway, now the First Minister has been urged to end the Butte House Agreement immediately, or risk being labelled as an apologist for anti-Semitism. The Scottish Tories have written to him to demand that he end the toxic coalition amid the upset caused by Miss Chapman. The controversial Scottish Greens MSP and piece of human shit tweeted a pro-Hamas post and added, "What's happening in Palestine is a consequence of apartheid, illegal occupation and imperial aggression by the Israeli state." And so, this, like I say, this absolute excuse for a waste of skin sort of upset people, because she's siding with absolute pieces of filth. But then that's not surprising. She herself is a piece of human dog shit. This comment was described as vile by Scottish Conservative leader Jackson Carlo. He labelled it the last straw for the Butte House Agreement, as he wrote to Mr Yousaf to urge him to make the right decision to get rid of their coalition partners. And he compared Miss Chapman's comment to the External Affairs Secretary Angus Robertson, who said that there was no justification for Hamas's act of, and I can't say that word because YouTube don't like it, but we'll call it tourism. And of course now, if Angus Robertson, who says that, he's condemned it, he's called it what it is, he cannot now sit in the same government as the Greens. So either they have to go or he does, otherwise an immense amount of hypocrisy. Does he want to sit there having said that and agree and condone it because he's allowing those Greens to remain in government? I think Angus Robertson now needs to call for the Butte House Agreement to end. And if he did that, I would totally give him respect. Mr Carlaw is the MSP for Eastwood, which is the home to Scotland's largest Jewish community, and pointed out that the Scottish Greens have refused to sign up to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the IHRA, which is and their definition of anti-Semitism, and that they were totally unfit to be in a party of government. He said Maggie Chapman's vile comments in the wake of Hamas's appalling attack, which has killed hundreds of Israeli civilians, has rightly provoked outrage on social media. He says it lays bare the disgusting bigotry that pollutes the Scottish Greens and makes them totally unfit to be a party of government. And he said this post does not come in isolation. Her colleagues regularly post or like messages that are grossly offensive to Jews, while the Greens' refusal to sign up to the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism tells you all you need to know about their extremism. But Maggie Chapman's comments are so unacceptable that Hamza Yousaf, or Hamas Yousaf now, must end the toxic Butte House Agreement and kick the Greens out of government. If not, he will be deemed an apologist for anti-Semitism. Well, we all know he probably is an anti-Semite anyway, given him his background. But will he have the balls to kick them out? I think not, because we know he is a Ken doll. He has zero balls, zero spine, zero ability to lead. A leader would have done it already. A leader would have on the phone this morning and said, "You're done." But he's not a leader. He's a weak little man in a very big job that he's totally incapable of doing. Carlo went on to say, Angus Robertson, like every right-minded person, has condemned Hamas's actions, so we can only assume he is uncomfortable being in government with a party that refuses to view Hamas as a tourist organisation. It defies belief, he says, that Maggie Chapman can hold views as callous and abhorrent as these while serving on the Equalities Committee. Her position on that committee is now untenable. She's untenable. She is, and I'm not going to get back into it, she's just dog shit, isn't she? Anyway, the Scottish Greens have previously tweeted support for Palestine and called for Hamas leaders to be taken off the international tourist list after voting through a motion at their conference in 2015. Co-leader Patrick Harvey, another little turd, called for the Scottish government to boycott and sanction Israel, which is a campaign which has been dubbed anti-Semitic. But of course he is. He's a hate-filled little wanker. Pro-IRA as well, you see. All the same, aren't they? They're just filled with self-loathing and squirming nastiness inside. They've got nothing. They're empty, vapid pieces of shit. Vertical turds. That's all these people are. Tory MSP Stephen Kerr said, I hope the response of the Scottish Greens to the massacres in Israel serve as a notice to the people of Scotland that these politicians aren't the harmless environmentalists, but rather they're radical extremists. The Scottish Government has been approached for comment, but there's been no comment, because what can they say? To comment would show that they had balls. Not one set of balls in the SNP. They're all craven, cowards and wankers. I shall come up. So there we are. It's not just me saying that the Greens need to go. You're getting politicians from all sides of the political spectrum now saying the Butte House should go. The Greens are just disgusting. They're really on the wrong side of history. And that they are actually condoning the murder of babies. That's the Greens for you. What do you expect? Told you, they're extremists. I've told you all along. These people are extremists. They're Marxist extremists. And for them, human life is just expendable so long as it's not their human life. Well, let's make it difficult for them. Let's expose them. Let's tell the truth. And let everyone know what pure filth the Greens are. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to stop.